Hi guys, welcome back. So guys, in this video we are going to see four important tags, that is ID, class, div and span. Okay, so we will be seeing two important topics, that is what is the major difference between the ID and class and what is the role of div and span tags. So far in our series we have never used these tags, so let us understand these tags at this point of time, as these are very important when it comes to CSS styling. Okay, so guys, before we start the video, if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing and make sure to check this playlist HTML full course on my channel. So guys, let's move on to the code editor now. What we will be doing is, first of all, I'll create a new file called as tute16.html. okay, and then we will write the boilerplate code in this file, and we will just understand. I will write div tags, okay, something like that. And what I will do as a first step is I will create a basic structure in the code. Okay, so I will add a h1 and then one paragraph and then one more heading and then one more paragraph. Why am I doing all of this? You will understand in a minute. Okay, because I want to show you what is the usage of these tags, okay, like ID and classes. Okay, first of all, we are understanding ID and classes. So I will write this is heading 1. Okay, saving it, and we will write paragraph, like so. For that I am using lorem, which will give me some basic paragraph, and then again I will write another heading, okay, which will be this is heading 2, and then one more paragraph lorem, and then 40, something like this. Okay, now I will open this page with live server. So you can see this is how our page looks so far now. So you have to understand that ID, okay, first of all we were discussing ID and class, so I will write ID and class. Okay, ID and classes are not tags, okay, these are attributes. Okay, ID and class is an attribute, and if you remember, we have already used ID in our when we were learning forms. Okay, so if I will take you to that file, which was previous one, this file, here you see we are already using ID, okay, that is name for this one, ID, email. Okay, and what was the purpose of using this ID is basically to make the connection between the input tag and the labels, right? This was the purpose for which we were using IDs. But IDs are not just used for that purpose, it is used for multiple different purposes when you even have to style your, like, file or web page. Now what is styling? First of all, so basically your web page is looking like this, okay, as of now, but you might have seen different websites, right, where your web page, like the text on the website is of different color and all. Okay, if you have to achieve all of that, how can you do it? For that you have to use CSS, right? We will be discussing everything about CSS in a lot more detail in the upcoming videos, but for now let's understand how can we write CSS. Okay, so there are different ways of writing CSS. One of the ways is that we have to include this style tag just in the head section. Okay, so whatever we write inside this will be considered as our CSS. Okay, let's try writing this. First of all, what I will do is I will give a class attribute, okay, class name to this heading, and I will name it as something like, I want to give it a color name. Okay, so I'm naming it as color name. Okay, color name 1, something like this. Okay, this is, you can consider that I have given just some basic name, and these dashes on nothing are like, it is not a normal convention or something, okay, that you have to follow this convention only. You can give any name of your choice. Okay, so yeah, I'm just using this one. And how can I target this now? So in order to target, or basically in order to tell CSS that we are using a class, we have to use this dot. Okay, dot means that this is a class. Okay, and I have to give a particular color, which can be like, anything, like maybe a tomato is a color. Okay, so I'm just saving this and just saying. So when I wrote this class, okay, on this one, and I'm writing a CSS and assigning a color to it, my color got updated for this heading. Okay, now what if I want the same color to be given to this heading 2 also? So I can just apply the same class to my heading 2, and the same color will be applied for this also. Okay, so you can see the same color is getting applied. So what we have understood from this, now classes is basically used in generally these types of scenarios. Okay, it is used to group multiple elements with the same styling or behavior, right? So like we have to achieve same styling on heading 1 and heading 2, so that is why we have achieved this. Okay, the other way of doing this could be, like, for example, if we have like 5 headings, okay, and we want to achieve the similar color on all the same headings, so we can write something like this also. Okay, so using like heading tag also we can target it. It will also give us the same result. Okay, but what if I don't want to achieve this color on all the headings, I want to achieve it on a particular heading only, right, like on the first heading only? So in that case we have to use this class name. Okay, for example, if I have to achieve this color on first heading only, so I will not apply this class to this one, and I will just use as this one. Okay, so you can see my class is getting applied only on the first one. but you understood the major concept of class, right? That if you want to apply, now if I have this requirement that I have to apply the same color on first heading and second paragraph, okay, so I will go to second paragraph, apply as this class. Now first heading and second paragraph both has the same color. So now we have understood what is classes. Now let's understand about IDs. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to give a ID first of all to this heading 2. Okay, and let me name it as heading 2 only. Again, you can give any name, and I want to target this ID. Okay, so how can you target ID? Basically, I told you, right, using for classes we use dot. So in the same way for ID we use a hash. Okay, so now whatever I write inside this will be applicable to heading 2 ID. Okay, so I will write color again, and this time I will give some color, like, you know, which one to give? This teal we will give. Okay, so let's see. So you can see this heading is now of teal color, and how we were targeting, we are targeting using ID. Okay, so basically you have to understand that ID is used to uniquely identify one element. Okay, now ID cannot be same. Okay, you cannot use the same ID on any other element. Okay, this will be illogical. Okay, and basically ID is not just used for styling, targeting the CSS and all. It is used for multiple other purposes also. One of the purpose we already seen that while creating forms we were using IDs. Even when we write JavaScript, there also we use IDs. Okay, so that is why ID has to be unique. You have to understand that. And for classes, you can use classes to like, you know, style multiple different elements or tags. Now let's move on to the next section or the next part of our video, which is to understand what is the role of div and span tags. Okay, so in order to understand that, what I will do is I will take one of the codes from our previous videos only. So when we were doing exercise 2, we have created a profile page, right? So I'll show you how does our profile page used to look like. So this was the profile page that we created, right? Now I'm going to use this only to make you understand what is the role of divs and span. Okay, so what I will do is I will go to my code editor. I will copy all the code from this file, okay, which is my solution2.html. whatever the code that I have written in that body, in that video, I will copy all of this. Okay, I have copied all of this, and now I will put it below this. So basically I'll add a line break, and then I'll put all of this code, saving it, formatting the file, and let's go to our code editor and see, saving the file. See, this is what we have achieved now. Okay, now let us suppose we have this requirement that we have to, you know, divide this entire resume or profile into 3 different sections. One section is basically this much, okay, like your name, your profile, like your role and your introduction. Then second section is your skills and blogs, and third section is your about me. Okay, and you have to apply different background colors to these sections. How can you achieve that? Basically, as of now, we do not have any single container for all these things, right? So if I have to do something like that, div will be very helpful in that case. Okay, so what I will do is I will create a div tag, and then first container I will, you know, whatever I want to keep in my first container, I will move all of this inside my div. Now as of now, if you will go on the site, you will not see any difference. Okay, because div in itself does not provide any styling or like by default. See, but when I will inspect my code, you will see that one div will get added. Okay, here, see, this is the div. This is the div that we have just now added. Now what we will do is we will use this div to style our container. Okay, so I will name it as, give it a class name as container1, and use this class to give it a background color. So let me go here in my styles tag, and then I will give a background color. For background color we have this background color property, and I will give a background color like this. So now you can see it is clearly identified that this is one separate container. Let's do this same for container 2 and container 3. Okay, so skills and my blocks will be in one container. So what I will do is I will go below, and where my skills and my blocks section is there, first of all I will cut it. Okay, Control X, and then I will create a new div, and then I will put my code inside this, and then I will give a class name to this one as container 2. Okay, and then I will do the same thing for my third container also. So here I have created the div, and where it is ending. Okay, so my blog. Okay, so about me section, I want to create a third container. Okay, so I will cut this and then create a div. Okay, and then put this one, giving it a class name as container 3. Okay, saving it, formatting the document. Now what we will do is we will give the background color to these classes, container 2 and container 3. So I will go here, I will write the class as container 2 and a background color. I will give a separate background, different background color, so that it is clearly identifiable. And container 3 also I will give a separate background color. Okay, so background color something like yellow green. Okay, saving it. So you can see clearly now we have three different sections, okay, which we have created using what, using div. Okay, so basically the purpose of div is this only, that if you want to like you can use it basically to create different layout sections. Okay, now what is the major use cases of div? So if on your website you want to create a header, right, you might have seen a header on your website which has like different sections, your logo, your about me page, contact us page. So for that case you can use divs. If you have a separate sidebar like on YouTube only, okay, so this is a header. So if you want to achieve something in the header or a separate sidebar, this is a sidebar, so you can use divs for that purpose. Okay, now let us understand what is a span tag. So for example, I have this introduction written, right? So here I want that my name should be, right now my name is in black color, right? I want that it should be in white color. So how can I display that? So right now there is no way, right? I have to enclose this in a separate tag, then I can give a styling to that. So for that what I will do is I will first of all cut this text and put it inside a span tag, and then now I will give a class name to this span tag. Okay, so I will give a name as name itself, and then I will use this class to give a color, maybe white color. Okay, so name class, and then I will give the color as white. Okay, so now if you see, now the color is changed to white, right? This color is changed to white. I can even give a background color, okay, so that it is clearly visible, like background color like blue. So you can see I have just styled, okay, it's not border color, background color. So now you can see in this way it is styled. I have just styled a particular word in a given paragraph. Okay, so wherever you have to achieve this type of inline styling of a given word or anything in between the text, okay, continuation of text, you can use this span tag. Now you might be thinking, why we have not achieved this using div? Why only span, right? We could have achieved this using div also. So to clear that doubt, what I will do is, now instead of span I will try using a div. Okay, and let's see what happens. See, as soon as I use div, it came on the next line. Okay, why so? Because div is a type of block level tag. Okay, whatever you write inside a div will be considered as a separate container. So that is why it is putting it on our next line. That's why we cannot use div in this case. We can use a span tag. When you write a span tag, basically it will be considered as an inline tag. So the tag is added in the continuation of the current paragraph only. So guys, I hope now you have understood what is the difference between IDs and classes. IDs are unique and classes are used to give styling to the multiple different sections. Okay, in the same way we have also understood what is div. Basically if you have to write a code inside a container, you can put that inside a div, and span is for inline part. Now let's understand all of this with a real life analogy so that all these things will fit in your head. Okay, let's understand that our web page is a house. Okay, in real life our web page is a house. Then what we can say, that what are divs? Divs can be considered as room inside that house, right? Rooms, or basically rooms inside a house are what? It is sections, right? Then span is what? Span is items inside your room. Okay, which is span is used for inline content. Whereas ID is what? ID is your room number, which is unique, right? So ID is also unique in nature. Then what are classes? Classes, you can say classes is your room type. Example, your bedroom or kitchen. You can have multiple bedrooms, right, in your house. So basically using class you can style multiple elements which will be shared by multiple. Okay, class will be shared by multiple. So guys, with this real life analogy, I hope it was easy for you to understand. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. Do share your feedback and subscribe to the channel. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you next time.